From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. Sports Bash is brought to you by our good friends at the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal, and we are highly anticipating their arrival here at the studios in about a half an hour's time, so that is what we're looking forward to. By Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles in Rockville Center, Long Island's go-to store for sports, entertainment, and political memorabilia since 1996. What did you drop on me, Tony? Oh, you dropped my pen. Let me start that over again. By Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles in Rockville Center, Long Island's go-to store for sports, entertainment, and political memorabilia since 1996. They're also available for charity auctions. Give Warren a call at 516-826-4000. Mention Sports Bash. Get a free autographed photo, and stay tuned later in the show to find out this week's Living Legends item of the week. By Bearcat Billing Service, your trusted partner in medical billing. Experience the Bearcat way, personal, professional, and tailored to your needs. Give Gary a call at 516-796-2400 and tell him Sports Bash sent you. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, and I'm proudly wearing their sweatshirt today, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. Well, hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm Peter Schwartz, 516-465-3990. The number to call. Make sure you're subscribing to Govs Comedy Club podcast channel on YouTube. Follow Govs Comedy Club on Facebook. Coming up on the show, the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day and the Living Legends item of the week. But first of all, most importantly today, it is the first installment of FOP, which we are calling Friends of Peter. So from time to time, I am going to invite a friend of mine in the business, whether it's sports, news, or entertainment, to come in and co-host the show with me for the whole hour. And the first one today, and I have known this lady for a long, long time. She works at News 12 Long Island. You know her from her articles on foxnews.com. She is a teacher at LIU. Please welcome to the show my good friend, Amy Mcgorry.
I'm so honored.
Tony, you're not clapping? Tony, walk.
I'm going to clap for myself.
Oh, he's looking for it on the instant replay. There you go. There's the claps. There's the claps. So first of all, thank you very much for coming today and dealing with me for an hour.
I've dealt with you for 2 decades.
Well, that's right. And you've dealt with me for hours at a time at a game, whatever fakakta game we were both covering at the same time. So when I first broached this subject with you about doing this, you were very, very overwhelmed by the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I said, well, because it's a very, very short list of what I would call FOP, Friends of Peter.
So short list meaning that you have short list of friends?
No. I have, as you know, everybody knows me. I have lots of friends. Now, the list of friends that I would consider hosting a show with me is a very, very short list of friends. Like, for example, I've got friends of mine that I grew up with, friends of mine, to this day. I'm not asking them to host a show with me. They have no idea what it takes to host a sports radio show or a sports TV show.
It's a lot of work.
Well, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of preparation. Quite frankly, not everybody can go in front of the microphone like you and I have done, for decades and be able to do something like this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of and also, here's the other thing too. I know a lot of people in the business. I've worked at, it's 35 years of working in the business. It's still not everybody I consider a friend. I don't think, no, I'm not trying to be funny here. I don't think I have a lot of friends in the business.
I think you have a lot more than you realize.
Because it's too cutthroat of a business. I mean, we both know how cutthroat our business is.
Yeah, I'm angling to get this show as soon as you're out.
Well, then you would not be an FOP. No, see, that's the thing. It's I only invite people that are not going to try and take something away from me, because that has happened in the past.
Oh,
and that's why the list of FOPs is very, very small.
I think in life they said you have actually, not only just in broadcasting, but in life in general, they said you can only count on your hand 5 really true people who have
Oh
your
my!
back.
Cheryl says that all the time. Like you have.
I love Cheryl. Cheryl's the
course, and she's
best.
watching right now.
Cheryl, you are awesome.
She was very excited when I said you were going to be the first FOP.
Oh, I think she's still. I love the time. Can we talk about the time that we both were yelling at you to fill in?
Well, it was on the list. It was
All right,
on,
we'll talk about that
it's
later.
on the opening segment. You can bring that up. So for
All
people who don't know the story, I think I may have shared it on the old version of Sports Bash at the other station. But so a few years ago, right after the pandemic, and I was at that time I was doing sports updates also freelance at Fox News, Fox News,
series,
radio.
right?
Well, yeah, the Fox News headlines. I almost
Okay.
forgot who I worked for.
You
So-
work everywhere.
I do. I have like 72 part-time jobs. You know
You
that.
really
You know the
do.
drill, what it's like to stay busy every week. Like my first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I look at the calendar. I do two things when I wake up in the morning. First thing is I look at the calendar to see where I'm working that day. Am I working a fan? Am I doing a show? Am I writing a story? Like, what do I do?
Right.
The other thing I do is I look at the obituaries. And if I don't
see if you died
I,
yet?
I look to see if my name is in there. And like if my name is not there, I go on with the rest of my day. So that's the two things I do when I wake up in the morning. But I was already on this particular date, I was already scheduled to work at Fox News Headlines. Now, I get a call from my boss at FAN, and they said, Boomer and Gio would like you to fill in for Jerry on whatever date that was. I forget what date it was.
I think it was around this time.
I think it was in the
Or
was it in the
summer?
spring? I don't remember. You know, Cheryl's watching. She'll probably remember exactly where it was because everything that I forget in my life, I go to Cheryl, and she always knows
She's
what the
your
answer
phone a
is.
friend.
Well, that's it. Well, she's more than a phone a friend, but she is always. But she is also. I will forget something that happened the day before, and she will instantly remember it. Instantly remember it. So it's very, very easy. There's a text. Is that her? No, it's somebody else.
It's your next FOP.
Well, my friend Glenn in Flushing, who calls the show all the time. Yeah, now he is not in radio, but he is actually someone who I would consider
Having
an
on.
FOP. Well, I think he could cover enough about sports
Okay.
to do it. I have to think about it. He wouldn't be on the list just yet. So, but it takes a lot to get on that list. So Boomer and Gio asked me to fill in for Jerry, and I'm working at Fox News Headlines
you
that
said
morning.
No.
And I said no.
I'm
I said
watching
no to
Boomer,
Boom-
and I'm like,
and they're talking.
no.
I was sleeping, and they're talking about this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are they? I'm getting like besieged with text messages because I had said no the day before. And they're like, and the producer is calling me, and I'm ignoring the phone call. I'm absolutely, because at that point, to be completely transparent, I was not happy with WFAN at the time because I had gone years never hosting on WFAN. I was pigeonholed as an update person, as a reporter. I mean, that's the thing. It's like when you're too good at your job at what you're doing, you don't get chances. You know, and it goes for any walk of life. If you're a third grade teacher and you want to be a high school teacher, well, the school district doesn't promote you because you're so good at your job. Why promote you? So I always felt like that was what was holding back. Mm-hmm. So I ignored it. And they kept calling. Then you text me. And I got Cheryl on me saying, you have to figure out a way to do that. You're calling, you're texting.
I wind up calling. It's like 6 a.m. I'm like, that's it. I know I was like, you have to wake up. I'm
Right.
Like, how are you
And I said,
not taking this
and I'm saying to Cheryl, I'm like,
opportunity?
I can't work in two places at one time. It's impossible. I mean, I know I'm good at my job, but I'm not that guy. I can't do two things at one time. And she's like, you have to. And you're screaming at me on the phone. So that day, Cheryl is off from work and we're shopping. And I text Greg Giannotti to call me. I'm like, we have to talk about this because he was the one who was pushing me to do it. We're in Target at Hicksville Mall, at Broadway Mall in Hicksville, when Greg calls. Because I had just gotten off the phone with somebody at Fox. There's nobody to fill your shift. You can't, you're locked in. There's nobody else to do it. I'm like, what am I going to do? And then you started in, it's like, I'm going to write CJ and tell him to make sure that they get your shift covered. There was no covering the shift. Nobody was available. So then Cheryl said to me, and this is why I love her and why she's the best, don't you record, isn't that shift from home with Fox? I said, yeah, at the time we weren't going back in yet. It was after she goes, why don't you see if you can do your Fox updates in another studio at FAN? So I asked Gio that question, and he got it approved by the new program director, and that's how I ultimately wound up taking the shift, because in between the FAN shifts, I was recording the Fox shifts in another studio.
See, so it all worked out.
It all worked out.
And then you got to be on their show. You did a phenomenal job.
Well, I like to think so, yeah. But I've gotten a few other cracks with them, too. It did open up a whole bunch of doors, and thinking back on it, how stupid of me was to not try and figure out some other way instead of being angry at FAN. And then what happened was, during that morning, I went in and met the new program director for the first time, Spike Eskin, and I said, what do I have to lose? My 2 shifts a week that I do update shifts there? And I went in and I said, this is why I'm not happy. I've never gotten a chance to host. And, so we'll get you in, in the next couple of months. A week later, I get a phone call. I'm hosting on an overnight.
All because Cheryl and I totally yelled
Hammered me to go and figure out a way. And I was hectic that morning because now I had to do Fox in between. I really didn't get a chance to soak in the whole thing until after the fact when I came home with a box full of crap that Boomer and Gio gave me as presents.
You brought in I was waiting for you to pull out the kitchen sink and have
Well, I came with 4 different jerseys for 4 different updates, but they sent me home with Boomer emptied out his prize closet with a whole bunch of things. So, yeah, so I have my wife Cheryl and Amy, the 2 of them, you cannot say no to this, and ultimately I didn't. And it did open up a whole bunch of doors.
I just remember talking to you and Cheryl yelling at you in the background, that's what I told him, baby. And I'm like, I know. You have to listen to Cheryl.
And then Tony, the 2 of them are talking to each other on the phone. How stupid is he? How freaking stupid is he that he's saying no to this? How could he say no?
Cheryl, I can't believe that. I was like, that's it. I'm going to go in and fill in for him.
Well, there you go. She would have done a good job, too. Absolutely.
I used to do updates.
Yes, you did. And very, very good. Very, very good. So enough talking about me. Let's talk about what you're up to, because obviously anybody who lives on Long Island or in the tri-state area that follows News 12, you've been one of the great personalities on News 12 covering and at the anchor desk. And you're at LIU teaching and Fox News. It's Dr. Amy Mcgorry, by the way, because she's a physical therapist. So what's going on in your professional life now? How busy are you?
Well, like you, when you're in this game, you need to take everything and anything. You open up any opportunity that comes your way. So Boomer and Gio are listening. I totally can do the updates. I'm around. Don't worry about Peter. You can just, I don't know.
Well, after today, if I ever need a fill-in host, Amy is the person to do it. Tony's out there taking pictures.
I've done. I used to drive down to Washington D.C. to do what was Redskins radio updates, because at the time, again, it's just you're hungry. This is such an amazing. I just love this career.
Do you know that
broadcasting?
Many years ago, I was offered a job at a Washington, D.C. all-sports station. Somebody who worked at FAN left FAN when I was an intern there. Remember Andy Poland? Remember the name Andy Poland? He was a WFAN update anchor. Mm-hmm. He moves to Washington as they launch a WFAN equivalent in Washington, D.C.,
I think
right?
That's the one I was at.
And he calls me up one day, and he's like, would you like to come work full-time for whatever, it was the fan and I don't even know, the team or something like that in Washington?
At the time.
And I'm like, and at that time I'm working, part-time at home, was still living with my parents at home on Long Island. And I'm like, you know what? I'm young enough, no family yet, right? So this was a perfect reason to leave. The ultimate, objective is to come back home to New York at some point. Mm-hmm. And there's 18 different ways to succeed in this business. You could stay and try and hammer it out. You can go somewhere. So I'm ready to go. And I talked to my parents. I'm like, I think I'm going to take this job. I'll find a place to stay. I'm calling around the friends of mine from the area. They're telling me where to live, everything. Andy Poland calls me out of nowhere one day. He goes, I'm sorry, I can't offer you the job. I'm like, what happened? This is the program director. He can't. He goes, I spoke to the owner of the radio station. They don't want another New Yorker on the radio station. And this is what I didn't understand. You're from New York, and they tell you, and I sent a million tapes out when I graduated college, and they all say, you've got to go somewhere else to get back to New York. And here it was, I was trying to go somewhere else, and they're like, nah, you're from New York, we don't want you. I mean, I don't understand that.
That is crazy.
Could you imagine, you're sitting around, you're from New York, and you've got this experience already, because my first job was at Sports Phone, and I had all this your experience covering. Remember Sports Phone? Yeah. Someone just
forgot about.
2 people
Sports
just wrote
Phone.
a book about Sports Phone. Oh, really? Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm in it. They
of course you're in it. What is
So like I
sports
had
without
this
Peter Schwartz?
right. That's why it's Schwartz on sports. But that is why I couldn't understand how like here it was. I was trying to leave to come back,
Yeah.
and they didn't want me there. Like what?
But that kudos to you because you were in New York. You started in New York. It is so hard to break in New York.
It is.
And you're here, but to your point, you have to get anything, take anything, open up any door, praying that that's what will send you to your next gig or to the big one. Right?
I'm still waiting for it. I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm here. Now,
right, because she wants to
No,
steal
really.
the show.
I'm
She's
really-
going to get 3 tickets on the phone, and I'm out the door. There you go. And then she's not an FOP anymore.
I am no longer FOP. I'm an
No.
anti-FOP. We have a special group.
Yeah. So how's everything at LIU? Because you teach at LIU.
I do. That's a different world, academia. I'm in the dean's office more now than I was when I was
Because you're in trouble?
I'm
or
always
because
in trouble. I just don't. Oh, wait, we have a caller. It's probably the dean.
Well,
I'm in trouble again.
Oh, I know who that is calling the show. No, continue.
Oh, okay. No, it's good. I think academia, it's great. You give back to these kids. It makes my brain work differently because you have to do like a lot of research. You have so much homework.
Yeah.
I'm literally doing homework and studying again just to keep up with the kids. And
Yeah.
So it's good. It's a good opportunity. And I welcome that. It's been good. It helped me during COVID because in COVID I was practicing with the physical therapy practice. It was Thrive Physical Therapy in Soho, which were fantastic.
Yeah.
But COVID hits, you can't treat patients.
No.
News 12, I'm so blessed to have had like almost 20 years there. But
20 years already.
20 years, but as the freelancer. So, and obviously as everything starts to be restructured in this business, you kind of have to evolve with the business.
Yeah.
So as you start to see gigs going a little bit less and less, you start opening up new doors. So that's when I went into academia and it's been good. But I'm still kind of keeping my, foot in the door with the broadcasting.
Yeah.
And so I went to Fox News Digital and I said, look, I got this doctor of PT and one of my former producers at, actually when I first started at Channel 55 at the time.
Yeah.
She was
May
working.
it rest in peace, Channel 55, as we knew it back then.
That was so fun,
Yeah.
right? So, she called me and she said, we need a health reporter to cover this pandemic. You on? And I said, sure. So I started writing health reports and luckily you've been staying there freelance. So it's been good. But back to that whole DC story, I wanted to do updates.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I just didn't feel comfortable doing updates for New York sports, and I needed to kind of get more experience.
Right.
So I knew about that station down in DC. I have
Mm-hmm.
family down there. I used to work at Georgetown. So I knocked on their door. They said, hey, come on down and we'll train you. So I did, but my first day, I drive all the way from New York down there. I drive at like 5 a.m. I get there. The poor host, it's him and this other host. The guy breaks down with his car. He's sitting there. It's my first day.
Oh, boy.
And he's like, I don't know what to do. He's like, my co-host is not here. And I said, uh-oh. I said, so just start talking. He's like, no, I need you to co-host with me. I'm like, I don't know anything about DC sports. I was like, I'm
Just
doing
say
my
hail to
updates.
the Redskins, and that's all you had to know how to do.
So I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm sitting there and we just start talking. And somehow we start talking about tailgating and food and...
See, now you have my
And
attention.
boom, all of a sudden, these callers who are his regular callers who know stats like the back of their hands,
Right.
like, I'm not a stats person. I never claimed to ever be stats person in sports.
See, that's what Bradley wants to do, because Bradley's majoring in sports management
he
at
has
college,
to.
and he's so like into analytics and everything
Oh,
like that. Like his,
that's good.
if he doesn't, like his dream, and I never, Cheryl and myself, we are not stopping him from dreaming of anything because he's already exceeded what people have told him he was going to do in his life. And he wants to play in the NFL one day. So listen, I know the numbers are astronomical about the chances of doing it, but I don't. Once he puts his mind to something, he'll do it. If he doesn't, he wants to work in like a front office of like a sports franchise with analytics and stuff like that. So he's great with numbers.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah.
So we started talking about foods and tailgating, and I started talking about how I love boneless chicken wings, buffalo. And so some caller who is their regular caller calls in and says, oh, well, this is my secret recipe. And then some other callers start. So the old co-host is like, oh my gosh. He's like, this was a sports show that you just turned into a cooking show. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I really don't know much. It's my first day in DC. I had no idea. And then finally the other guy showed up. He's like, what did you do? Turn this into the Food Network? And I'm like, it's working.
We have a phone caller at 516-465-3990. Let's go to Mark. Mark, you're on Sports Bash.
Peter, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you? Say hello to Amy.
Yeah. Hi, Amy. How are you?
Hi, Mark.
So I have a little bit of a gripe, I guess. I'm also known as Hershey from the Hershey and Keeg Show podcast.
Yes.
And I have a show on Tuesdays, and I have a little gripe.
Cheap plug there.
Yeah, sure was.
So, so far today, Tony had a show, Knockin' Dead Comedy, where he sat next to a beautiful young lady named Diane, I believe her name is. Is that right, Tony?
Yes.
Yep.
And now Peter is sitting next to a beautiful young lady named Amy Mcgorry, and I sit next to Keegan every week. So,
oh, thank you.
It doesn't seem fair, Peter. That's what I'm saying. It
That's
doesn't
really
seem
too
fair.
freaking bad on your part because I have a bigger Rolodex than you do.
You have a much bigger Rolodex, but you don't have a bigger opinion on this subject than I do, or maybe you do.
Okay.
But and you may have heard me on the radio yesterday talking about it.
I don't listen to your show.
No, not my show.
Oh no! When you called it the Boomer and Geo, no, I watched.
Yeah,
I did watch. I'm just joking. I did hear you on Boomer and Geo yesterday. Yes.
So I will tell you, and it's amazing, and I have a big issue with this in a lot of different ways in the sports world, and certainly want to hear how both of you guys feel about it. But sometimes there's just zero accountability in certain situations, and I don't really truly fathom it. And the idea that there are people who are advocating for both Joe Shane and Brian Daboll to be back with the Giants in the midst of the fact that they are in a 9-game losing streak. They let go at the beginning of before the season, Barkley and McKinney, who are going to go on to be the NFL potentially Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. The combination of the ineptitude from GM and coach, what possibly could you, and you're both veterans of sports media and so forth, what kind of logic can we make out of this where someone could defend each of these guys coming back? I mean, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm with you, Mark. I mean, the fact that they let those two guys go, especially Saquon Barkley, who's just ripping it up for the Eagles, and Amy, it's never good when fans are flying planes over MetLife Stadium telling the owner to get rid of player. That's not a good situation, right?
I'm sorry, I'll land the plane next
You'll
time.
land
I
the
won't
plane.
do it anymore. I'm sorry.
No, but I would agree. I think the Giants need a fresh start. I would say that.
I mean, the concept, people are saying, well, it's a change again, and it's a change again, and you shouldn't just change for change's sake. But ultimately, this isn't just for change's sake. I mean, what kind of message are you sending to your ticket holders, to your season ticket holders, to your fans, that you're going to run it back with this operation who, the Hard Knocks video of Joe Shane pretty much set a precedent that things were going to look bad. The fact that Mara basically said, my dreams will be haunted forever if this guy winds up in Philadelphia. And not only is he in Philadelphia,
and it happened.
It happened, but not only is he just in Philadelphia, he happens to be potentially the NFL MVP in Philadelphia, which is 60 miles down the turnpike or whatever it is, ramming it in the Giants fans' faces. Mm-hmm. They could have brought him back. They could have brought McKinney back. What kind of message are you sending to your supporters that you're going to run it back with this duo? I certainly don't understand it. I heard on the fan yesterday, people were saying it's a good idea, and I can't find the argument to bring them back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally get it. And Mark, thanks for the call. Make sure you guys listen to Hershey and the Keek here on the Governor's Comedy Club podcast channel. Look, I think the only reason that they would bring both of them back is to have stability. I mean, they're 3 years into the job. They had a playoff year the first year. What was that?
I have no idea.
Oh, my God. It was like somebody screaming in my ear.
It's the Giants.
It was the
They're
Giants.
angry
Like
at
they're
you.
listening. They're listening in. But they're 3 years in. One, playoff year, a horrible year last year, and then another horrible year this year. So do you give them the benefit of the doubt, or do you realize maybe there's a problem and you move forward?
I think at some point you've got to realize. Look, I feel like New York football has been dead here. My Sundays stink.
Jets.
So
we'll talk about the Jets next segment. But, yeah. Well, there's a medical reason I want to ask you about the Jets, but that's another story. But yeah, it's been a horrible football season. God awful. I mean, to the point. If I am telling my family we don't have to stay home and watch the game, let's go shopping. Yeah, let's go. Do something. Let's go see a movie. Like that's really sad when I'm doing that, right? So we are overdue for a break, so we're going to take a break. But before we do that, I want to bring this picture up because one of the great moments that Amy has had in her broadcasting career.
It was the hardest interview ever.
It was terribly hard.
The most challenging.
Hard. So in 2015, my son Bradley is playing Little League for Levittown North Little League, and we have this charity all-star game to benefit the family of Lorenzo Fernandez, who was a young man who passed away from pediatric cancer. It was very, very sad, but we put this all-star baseball game together. The Little League put the All-Star game together. We helped out, Cheryl and myself.
You and Cheryl were so good about making sure you got that message out about that young boy and that. And Bradley was amazing.
Well, he was, no question. And this is a picture that we're looking at of you interviewing Bradley after, was it before the game? I think it was before the game. It was before the game.
His pants aren't dirty yet. So
no, it's right. And he did slide somewhere that day. But so we had like the local teams all provided like stuff to auction off and do charity. It was a one week. I was working for the Cosmos, and a player from the Cosmos came and threw out the first, because the young man was a big soccer fan too. And there you are interviewing Bradley. And do you remember what questions you asked him?
He had me sweating. I mean, he's a good. I mean,
he could talk. Let me tell you,
like Super Bowl champs, everything. This was the hardest interview ever. I was very nervous. Very nervous.
He's got this S-eating grin on his face.
I just wanted to hug him. He's so cute.
Well, you should see him now.
Oh,
and Jared's a big kid now too.
Oh my gosh!
It's I have one in college and one in high school now. It's ridiculous.
There was a little Islander games. I can't believe
we saw you at Islander games all the time and all around town. So we'll go to break with that. We have a lot more to cover. Okay. We're just getting started here. And you were all nervous. You're texting me for a week saying, I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm excited. I'm like, just relax. It's just two friends.
I was going to throw up. I called my old producers, Rob Del Muro and Andrew Rappaport from News 12, who I love. I'm like, you guys are my phone and friends. And they're fans of yours.
I love both of those guys. In fact, Andrew, I didn't see him, but I know he was at the wrestling the other night, the Saturday night's main event at the Coliseum. I was there too, but I didn't run into him there.
They're FOPs.
They are potential FOPs. They would be on the short list. Since I announced that you were the first one, people have been applying for the next one.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's
trendsetter.
Well, you are. And here's the thing. I had to get you vetted. There was a lot of paperwork here because Tony doesn't just let anybody in the doors here.
I'm so honored.
We were on probation when Sports Bash came here a few months ago. Oh. Only last week was I allowed to start using the bathroom.
You're welcome anytime, though, Amy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tony.
There's no vetting system. Right. It's Amy Mcgorry.
So we'll see what happens with the next FOP that comes. So listen, this segment was presented by Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Mention Sports Bash. Get a free dessert with your meal. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the Jets and Giants. We'll get into the Yankees and Mets a little bit, perhaps. Mm-hmm. But we will also dive into one of Amy's favorite entertainers, and she's got a great story about that when we come back right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, 516-465-3990. The number to call. Make sure you are subscribing to Govs Comedy Club podcast channel and follow the Govs Comedy Club podcast Facebook page. We come back with New York City. Keep that going a little bit more, sure. Tony. New York City Rhythm by Barry Manilow. And so those of you who follow the show all the time, you know that I select the music. Now, it's not a dictatorship here on the show. It's a democracy a lot of times. And I'll ask, when Wiz is here on Thursdays to do his segment, I'll ask him, is there a song you want to hear? Sometimes Tony will interject some things. So, of course, Amy told me a story. By the way, it's Peter Schwartz, Amy Mcgorry from News 12, and other things, filling in.
And other things.
And other things.
That's on my card. Hi, I'm Amy Mcgorry.
I didn't mean that in a bad way.
You have 72 other jobs,
I have 72. I was going to say
we just need one person to hire us full time.
That is why we get along, because there's a lot of things that we share in common. We will never say no to a job offer, and that's the thing. So, yes.
We work anytime.
I work at WFAN and other things. This is one of my other things. And you work at News 12 and other things. And you have a whole bunch of other things. Yes. But, so I asked Amy yesterday, I'm like, because she had told me this Barry Manilow story. I said, give me a Barry Manilow, what do you want to hear? I said, something from Barry Manilow. So I picked New York City Rhythm. I happen to like this song.
This song is all right, but I was surprised. I thought you would go with, looks like we made it.
Well, that's a good one, too.
Or
that's a
the
good
Copa.
One. Even now, Copacabana, right?
We could sing Even
Weekend in New England.
Oh,
that's a nice song, too.
Everybody was crying at the concert.
And that brings us to the point why I bring this up, because you told me this story about you being made fun of because you went to a Barry Manilow concert. Now tell everybody the story.
Oh, and first of all, I want to go on record. I'm not the only Fanilow here. Peter had shown me tickets from a 1981 concert.
Yes, well, I'll get to that in a second.
So
Let's hear your story. 81. So I will get to that story in a second.
There's a lot of secret Barry Manilow fans out there.
Yes,
nobody
absolutely.
Likes to admit it,
I'm not secret about it.
You know who you are.
I am not secret about it. I love Barry Manilow. I would go see him again.
He's in Vegas.
Well, he's in Vegas now. There was a couple of years ago, me and Cheryl he was here somewhere. I don't know if he was at UBS or somewhere in Manhattan. We were thinking about going to the concert, and something came up and we didn't go. But if he comes back in the area, I'd love to go see him again. But
Yes.
you have a story about being made fun of for being a Manilow
I do.
fan.
So I so I have this karaoke machine that I bring everywhere.
See, if I knew that, I would have had to bring in the karaoke
I
machine. Yeah.
have it in my car. I literally have my karaoke machine in the car because you never know. It's fun. It brings people together. So
We'll tease that for the next time she's in FOP.
we'll do some karaokeing.
I can get karaoke music right here, man.
Let's do some Barry. So all of a sudden I'm out with and my friends at this summer party she was having and all these people I grew up in Queens with, we're all hanging out. One of the guys picks a Barry Manilow song and starts singing it. And I'm like, you like Barry Manilow? So then all these people started singing and he's like, yeah. And his wife's like, yeah, he's coming to concert in October. So I'm like, that's it. I'm getting it. So I got 2 tickets to go. And I thought,
Where was he?
He was at Radio City Music Hall. It was great. So all of a sudden, all of a sudden, all these people are like, I'm not going to Barry. I'm not going to Barry. And I'm like, I'm just going to go by myself then. But my niece, Kaylin, who's listening right now. Hey, Kaylin. She works with gooddog.com. She's listening. So I said to her, hey, would you come with me to Barry Manilow? Because she's up for it. She's one of those people who's like, no matter what, she's up for anything and makes it fun.
Right.
So I'm like, you're going to experience Barry Manilow. I'm not sure your generation even knows who he is, but we're going to go. So Barry Manilow, believe it or not, is like 81 or 82.
Yeah.
This guy is in shape. Yeah. He is wiggling and jumping all over stage.
Like Billy Joel. Yeah.
He does that throaty voice like that. He still does that. And I show up at the Radio City Music Hall. I'm there with my niece. Now, I'm terrible with maps and buying tickets. I don't know. I'm just bad. I thought that these seats were the only ones available. I didn't realize it was opposite. So we show up. We got nosebleed seats, which are like $200 a piece.
Right.
And we're the only ones in this section. And I'm not even embellishing this. There's nobody around us. Nobody. And we're the youngest people there. Everybody else is so much older.
The old farts had the seats in the front.
They did.
Yeah.
So now we're sitting there. Then they had this contest. If you scan something real quick, scan this thing on the stage, and you could get down like front row and meet Barry. So now I'm going to scan because we're by ourselves.
Right. Of course.
So all of a sudden we're there and we're dancing.
That's Barry Manilow's imitation of what Billy Joel does, because Billy Joel sends stagehands up to the upper seats and finds them and moves them down to the front row.
So that's what I thought was happening. So all of a sudden, a few songs in, and it was just fantastic. He is phenomenal still. So all of a sudden, this girl shows up, and she's looking at her phone, looking at me and Kaylin, looking at her phone, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, I think we won I think it's his stagehand. We're going to go down.
Yeah.
She comes over to us. She's like, and I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. We're going to meet Barry Manilow. The girl winds up being hammered. And she's like, are you Lisa? And I'm like, what? I'm like, wait, you don't work for the Radio City? You're not moving me down with my niece to go meet Barry? No, I'm looking for my friends. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, it's the two of us are literally here by ourselves with 8 rows all around us. Do I look like Lisa? Oh, she's got your color hair. And I'm like, do you need help? And I'm worried this poor girl's going to trip and fall. And I'm like, no. And she's like, Barry! And then she just kept walking. So
you didn't get
to. I feel like, I don't know.
But that was a good story, though. But you have people around you that were making fun of you for wanting to go see Barry Manilow.
Everybody makes fun of me. They're like, nobody listens to Barry Manilow. Nobody.
I went to the concert you're talking about. I texted you a picture of the ticket stub.
Yeah.
I went with my mom.
Oh.
Nassau Coliseum, 1981. My parents got me onto Barry Manilow. My father didn't want to go to the concert. So we only bought 2 tickets. And I went with my mother. And, of course, now, if you're old enough to know, 1981, what are we right in the middle of? We're right in the middle of the Islanders Stanley Cup dynasty. So any chance I had to go to Nassau Coliseum for anything, I was all for it, right? So the tickets went on sale. I was in school all day. Nobody went to go get the tickets. They're selling tickets all day. So there was a place in East Meadow called East Meadow Sports. They were in the shopping center that used to have Modell's in it, right?
Yeah.
Right? Remember, all right off Hempstead Turnpike?
Yeah.
So we go to East Meadow Sports, and they have Ticketron there, and that's where we had the tickets. The concert is sold out. But the guy goes, you're in luck, because somebody came in and was going to buy 2 tickets earlier in the day and didn't have the cash. and the 2 tickets are sitting on top of the cash register there at the front desk. And I'm there with my mom, and I'm like, where are the tickets? And they're like, oh, they're in 3, whatever it was. So we bought them. And I went with my mom to the concert. And otherwise we would never have been able to go because the concert was sold out. But because that schmuck didn't have money with him, these 2 extra tickets were sitting there on the counter.
It was meant to be.
Thank God for schmucks. But we go to the concert, and it was great. He was in the round, right in the middle. So I can imagine like the stage is right where center ice would be for hockey, right? Now he takes an intermission. He goes off, right, and take a break. He comes back, and he starts the second act with Copacabana. Ooh. And he's got like the feathers,
yes,
the boa, right?
He did that too.
So he's got the feathers and the boa. Yes,
he looks like a big peacock.
Doesn't take much to get Amy excited there, right?
I was like, oh my God, I know what you're talking about.
So he's got the feathers and the boa, right? And he starts, at the Copa, right? And all of a sudden he takes off the boa and the feathers, and what's he wearing underneath? An Islanders jersey, a Mike Bossy Islanders jersey. I'm flipping out because Bossy is my favorite Islander, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. Barry Manilow is putting on a great show. I'm in the home of the Islanders, and he comes out, and he's wearing a Mike Bossy jersey. And then he comes on the mic, and he's like, I want to thank Mike for loaning me the jersey. I got to give this back to him and everything like that. I'm like, you talk about excited. That was fun, right?
So you know what I think we should do? Call your buddies Boomer and Gio and have them send us to the Barry Manilow concert in Vegas, and we cover it, and we meet him behind stage. And you wear the boa. And sing the Copa.
I don't know if the boa will like resonate with me. I think that would kind of like I'm more of like getting ranch dressing dumped on me.
He ended the show with the Copa. Like all of a sudden he comes out. This is after he had everybody crying because he finished with "I write the songs that make the younger," and the whole crowd, all the 80 and 70-year-olds are singing, and I'm like, oh my gosh! I was like, this is like everybody's crying and singing, and then he comes out and boom with this big.
And I can't. I think I've had my share of favors I've asked Boomer and Gio for. I think I've kind of like reached my quota because now it's just become like, I get ripped on social media. Oh, you tried to weasel your way into something else, and It's
so let's find a new show for you to borrow favors from.
Tony, is Barry Manilow coming to Governors anytime soon?
Have him come.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
You get back to me on that. There you go.
From around here. He's like Brooklyn, Bronx, right?
Yes.
Brooklyn, he definitely is a local guy, no question about it. By the way, this segment of Sports Bash is presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. I wanted to bring the Jets up during the show, and to get your expertise on this too, because there's a lot of question as to whether or not Aaron Rodgers will be back with the Jets next year. Now he's 41 years old. He's coming off the Achilles injury last year.
Those are tough injuries.
Right. So the fact that it took him a lot of this season to get back on track, because his last 2 games he's been phenomenal. In your expertise, is it surprising that he struggled through most of and I don't think he really struggled like he was like a crappy quarterback. He just was missing guys a little bit. He couldn't run around as much. I mean, he still has a high completion percentage. He's thrown for a lot of touchdowns, but the last 2 weeks he has looked like Aaron Rodgers. So tell me about the Achilles injury and how long, realistic, because he came back to practice relatively quick from that Achilles. We had talked about this when he was going through this, because he had that modern Achilles fix, whatever they wanted to call it. Were you shocked how quickly he came back to practice last year after that?
Yeah, well, you know what the good news is like they have these they're developing. So you have these lasers now available. The PRP, if you can get the right, combination, and it's fantastic. It really is expedited things. See, your tendons and ligaments, they don't have a lot of blood flow to them. Mm-hmm. That's why they take forever. So by them now taking your own blood with these own little components, you can inject it right in, and it's healing it right there. It's like plastering that area, right? And then these lasers are just phenomenal that they've had. Now, I'm not privy to his case. I'm not around his trainers or his PTs, so they would know better than I. But I'll say when I treat the normal, I guess, regular weekend warrior, they are, it'll take them like, well over a year till they really feel good.
So he's kind of in that area now where he's probably intentionally.
I think he's starting
feeling better.
to feel better. Like I'm hoping, and again, I don't know, but yeah.
I might be in the minority on this as a Jets fan, and then they fired the GM and they fired the coach. I would bring him back because I think if they go out and get a quality coach and a smart GM, there's so much talent on that team. And who else are they going to get? Like I hear the excuse, well, he's 41, and you're going to bring him back at 42. Like Tom Brady played till he was 45, 46.
Yeah.
But now you're starting to see what he's all about, and also he's got that chemistry with Devontae Adams, who he was teammates with at Green Bay, and with Garrett Wilson. I would run it back. This roster was too talented to only have 4 wins this year.
I just say, why not? You get that, just like you're saying, all those support systems in place. See it, and then get somebody there all right, at least you gave it that one chance. We don't know. Maybe it does work, and if it doesn't, then have somebody in the sidelines getting ready to be groomed to take over.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as a lifelong Jets fan, I mean, it's just been one disaster after another, and I'm like, what? So why wouldn't you at least try? Like, we've seen, like, a glimpse of what he could do the last couple of weeks, and that's just, it's such a sad life being a Jet fan. It really is.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like, again, and I was stupid, and I've told this story on the air before, and Tony has heard it multiple times. Like, my dad was a Giants fan. My father, but he...
How did you become a Jet fan then?
Well, because he made a mistake of taking me to a Jet game for my first NFL game. We were living in Forest Hills, and he's like, we got tickets from Uncle Stevie to go to the Jet game, and we went to the Jets-Bills game in 1977 at Shea. And I was infatuated by it. It's kind of like one of those love at first sight kind of things. Like, I'm at a football game, you see the smoke coming out of the players' mouths, and people are going nuts, and the seats are shaking at Shea. And so I'm a Jet fan, even though my father was a Giant fan. But he didn't, he rest in peace. He should have made sure that my first game was a Giant game.
Yeah.
And stupid me, I would have had 4 Super Bowls in my life.
Yeah.
Like, instead I've got this life of misery
Torture.
And Cheryl's a Jets fan too because her dad's a Jets fan. So we have passed this Jet fandom down to Bradley and Jared, and I apologize to them all the time, but the bottom line is, if mom and dad have to suffer, you've got to suffer too.
Oh, no, you got to break that lineage.
No.
This poisonous lineage.
So that's why the kids are like mixed, because she gave me the first draft pick when she was pregnant with Bradley. I don't know if you know the story.
No, what?
So Cheryl is a Mets, Jets, Rangers.
Okay.
And of course I am Jets, Yankees, Islanders. So, so we had to, Jets was easy. We were both Jet fans, so it was easy. They were both being Jet fans. So she gave me the first draft pick, so to speak. And I said, well, that's easy. I don't hate the Mets. I grew up in Queens before moving to Long Island. I've probably been to more Met games in my life than Yankee games, but I'm a Yankee fan. That I listened to my father on. And I was smart. I listened to my dad. I became a Yankee fan. So I said, I will take the Islanders because I would sooner stick a needle in my eye than watch my child put a Ranger jersey on. I said, you get the Mets, I get the Islanders, we're color coordinated, and everybody's happy. If only the world's problems could have been solved as easy as that.
You guys are, you should be world powerful leaders.
Well,
they need you at all these conferences.
It is
you and Cheryl can conquer the world.
Absolutely, no question about it. We have some more work to do still, but we have to pay some bills. So we're going to step aside once again. When we come back on the show, we're going to do this thing called the Sports Bash Media Poll Question of the Day.
Ooh.
We have that. We're going to talk about the Piano Man when we come back a little bit. So that's coming up. Lots more to talk about. Peter Schwartz, Amy Mcgorry, Sports Bash coming right back on Governor's Comedy Club podcast right after this. Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles is the best place to find autographed entertainment and sports memorabilia. We guarantee the authenticity of each and every item in our shop to provide you with quality collectibles anytime you browse our inventory. Our memorabilia includes autographed photos, sports equipment, jerseys, hats, and other paraphernalia from current athletes and legendary sports stars. If you prefer the entertainment industry, we have signed posters, albums, and photographs from classic movie stars and today's celebrities. To give back to our community, we participate in fundraising auctions for local charities. Call us today to request a specific autograph, find a special gift for someone else, or schedule an event. Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service. Peter Schwartz, along with my FOP for the day, my friend of Peter, Amy Mcgorry, my co-host here today, and we've had some fun for the better part of this hour. Still a little bit more to go, and we're coming back with a little Billy Joel. Allentown. You've got to be a big Billy Joel fan.
Of course.
Yeah.
Mr. Long Island.
Yes, absolutely. Have you? How many times have you seen Billy in concert?
I've seen him twice. I did see him once with him and Elton John many
Face to
years
face.
ago. It was awesome. I think it was in the 90s.
And before our show is the Knock 'em Dead comedy show, and Dave Clark, who is who does Billy Joel covers, and Tony, you can help me out on this. He is doing a concert with somebody who is imitating Elton John.
That is correct.
Right. You want to tell everybody about that?
December 27th at Westbury Music Fair. You can see David Clark, and Billy Connors is the Elton John guy, and they're calling it Face to Face.
Face to Face.
They're playing just the greatest hits of Elton and Billy.
That's going to be awesome.
Yep, going to be a great show.
So a week from this Friday
Correct.
at Westbury Music Fair. So I have seen Billy Joel 20 times.
20 times.
20.
Does he live up to the hype after all the time?
Oh yeah,
each time?
never a bad show. Never a bad show. Now, it was at 19, and then last year. So by the way, the whole Schwartz family is going this New Year's Eve at UBS Arena. So now that'll be 21 for me. So last year, before that concert was announced, I was sitting at 19, and I'm like, we know the residency is winding down at the Garden, so I want number 20 to be in a place that I've never seen him before. Because I've seen him at the Coliseum, at the Garden, Giant Stadium, Yankee Stadium, up in college when I was in college at Buffalo. I saw him in Miami. I was out in Montauk, sitting on a haystack at the ranch when he did that show with Don Henley and Mark Cohn. Remember that concert back in the day? Right?
I have a recording of that.
You have a recording. I think you told me that you owe that to me.
Okay.
So, so I saw him out there all over the place. So I'm like, it's got to be. Now he announces New Year's Eve last year. And I said to Cheryl, we have to go New Year's Eve to see Billy. Ticket prices were a little on the expensive side. So I tried, I did this, I did that. Just couldn't come up with anything that made sense. So I said, you know what? Friends with Mike Del Giudice. We've seen him at the Garden because of Mike, getting really good seats at face value. So we'll see him somewhere down the road. 2 nights before New Year's Eve, obviously it's December 29th. The 4 of us are at an Islanders game. And we were guests of the Islanders because I became friendly with the Islanders owner, John Ledecky. So we're at the Islanders game, and we're walking out, and we're walking past, in the main concourse near where the team store is. So we're going to go down the steps to go out towards the parking lot. Cheryl says, "Peter, isn't that John Ledecky walking over there?" And I look up and I go, "Oh, it is John Ledecky." So I go over and I say hello to him. He comes over to see the family. He says hello to Cheryl. Said, "Look, Bradley, the boys look great. Everybody have a good time tonight. We won because the Islanders had won that night." And so everything is all great and everything. And I said, "Yeah, we had a blast. Thank you in your office for the tickets and everything." And I said to him, "So on Sunday, because Sunday is New Year's Eve, I said, are you going with the team to Pittsburgh, or are you going to be here for Billy Joel? And he goes, I got to be here. He goes, what about you guys? And I said, well, we couldn't get tickets, so we're not going. He goes, call me tomorrow. I'll get you tickets.
My God.
Oh my God! I said, I think we're going.
Wow,
I think
that's
we're going.
amazing.
Now I don't have his phone number. That's the problem. I have his email address. I don't have his phone number.
Can you get us Barry Manilow?
We'll see if he comes to UBS Arena, Amy. We'll all be in. The Mcgorrys and the Schwartzes will all go. So he says, send me an email in the morning. I send him an email. Saturday morning, I wake up, send him an email, and I don't hear anything all day. I'm like, God, this is not going to happen now, right? Sunday morning, I have to anchor 1010 Win sports updates from home, remotely from home. Get up in the morning, and I do the updates. Now, if we don't go to Billy Joel, our regular plans were we go to Dave & Buster's, play games, have dinner, watch the ball drop on TV.
That's a fun day.
A great consolation prize,
Yeah.
right? But we're looking to upgrade to Billy Joel, right?
Billy Joel or David Buster.
So I finished the shift at 9 in the morning. Now I got to take, either way, I have to take a nap because I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've got to take a nap.
That's a tough shift.
It's a tough. Well, I'm used to it, but to be out past midnight, I have to take a nap. So right before I take a nap, I don't want to involve anybody else, but I feel I have to. I text his PR person. I said, look, I don't want to get you involved in this, but
I am.
right, because that's me. So Friday night, we saw John on the way out, and what he told me that email him, and I didn't hear anything back. He writes me back right before I fall asleep. I don't know anything about this, but when he gets in, I will let you know. I'll ask him. I go to sleep for a couple hours. I wake up, and it's like 3:30. And I get another text from him. He's still not in. Said, hang tight. When he gets in, I'll let you know. 5 minutes later, another text from the PR guy. Another text from the PR guy. Just the number 4. Just the number 4. Now, Amy, it's 3:30. If you get a text that says just the number 4, what do you think it is?
Either 4 tickets or call me at 4.
Well, no. I took it as that he's going to come in because it's a follow-up from the previous text. I think he's coming into the I almost said Coliseum. He's coming into UBS Arena at 4 o'clock. So all I responded was, okay. The guy writes me back. He goes, that's all you have to say is okay? And I'm looking at the text and I'm like, well, what am I missing here? And I said,
he could have said more than just 4.
Right. So but all he wrote was the number 4, like nothing else. Like 4 tickets, you need 4. Like it's 4, and it's 3:30. So I'm thinking 4 o'clock. And I said, well, what am I missing here? Before he could respond, I now get a text from 3 people. It's the PR guy, it's John Ledecky's assistant, and an unidentified number that is now, I have it in my phone as John Ledecky, right? So he's like, Peter, I'm so sorry. You must have an old email address. I did not see your email yesterday. We have 4 tickets and parking for you for Billy Joel tonight. Looking forward to having you and your family. Now,
that's amazing.
This is great, right? Amy, I'm telling you, 5 minutes later, I get a text with the tickets. We're in his suite.
You were in his suite?
We were in John Ledecky's suite for Billy Joel.
Did you get like all the food and stuff?
The food, the drinks.
Would they have like chicken fingers and things?
Remember Benoit Hogue? Played for the Islanders in the 90s. He was in the suite, former Islander
Benoit
Hogue.
Oh my gosh, what a night.
And we met these wonderful people from London. Scott Malkin, who's the primary owner of the Islanders. He's the real money man. And John is a partner, but he's the face of the ownership group. So these people that knew Scott Malkin were there. They were visiting from London. We were having great conversation with the whole family. And it was the kids were having a blast. And then Billy goes on. He absolutely killed it that night. And it was absolutely wonderful, but it was just so funny. Like the whole day, I'm thinking, this is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're going to wind up at Dave & Buster's. We're going to wind up at Dave & Buster's. Could you imagine?
Oh my gosh!
What do you think of that?
What a great moment that you created and they created for your family.
It was incredible. And again, so that was number 20, and now
but
New Year's Eve this
that
year.
would happen to you, where you would have this whole drama and dilemma, and the number 4.
Listen,
that could only happen to you.
If there's something that always follows me, it's drama.
Yeah,
it's drama, and you can ask, right? Tony, you've known me
well,
for a short time.
Well, you're a Jet fan, and
no,
that's fine.
There's no drama with that. It's just sadness and just heartache. The Jet. So, but that was wonderful. So I had to share that
so
Billy
great.
Joel story. Before we get to the poll question of the day, and Tony's already angry at me because I told him we were going to run a little overtime today. And I brought this up on the show last week when we were announcing that you were coming on the show. This is a sticking point I have had for years, watching the likes of you and other people on news broadcasts. I'm very friendly with Andrea Grimes, who used to work at Channel 2.
She's good.
Did she work with you for a short time at News 12 before?
I worked at every single region of News 12, so I'm you can.
She was there years ago, but because I'm friends with Rich Barabi and all those people, and you name it in the news industry, I'm friends with people, and
you
they're all potential.
Of FOPs.
Maybe the list is a lot longer than I thought it was. We'll see what happens.
But
anyway, I have this thing, and we would always be up early in the morning, me and Cheryl. Cheryl sometimes would get up earlier when there was a snowstorm. And before, obviously long before Bradley went away to college. We want to make sure it's the Levittown School District closing because of the storm. And we put News 12 on, or we'll put 2 or 4 or 7, whoever comes up with the information fastest. And they tell you to stay off the roads. The weather is terrible. Stay off the roads. And what's the next thing they do after Rich Barabi or whoever it might be says stay off the roads? Who's driving Thunderbolt 12? There's Amy Mcgorry out there on some Fakakta road in Suffolk County on 135 or whatever, and she's driving. And, well, here's the situation right now on the roads. It's very treacherous out here. You can see the cars are going very, very slow. If you're telling people not to go on the roads, why, pray tell, are you on the roads at 7 o'clock in the morning?
It's do what I say, don't do what I do.
Right.
Oh my gosh, can I just tell you, that is my ultimate favorite thing to do. Is like snow coverage.
To risk your life.
I know. One time, I will say, we were in Thunderbolt 12 and we got stuck. And we had to do the live shot. My poor, the driver and my photographer, we jump out, we're like pushing the car. We're doing the live shot like off of this like parking lot. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're stuck. But I love it. I love meeting the characters who are out in the snowstorms. And I don't know, I guess, because people want to see what's going on. So, but if you're out there, look, if I say, don't do this, don't look at that, you're going to look. So we're showing you, look how bad this is. I'm sliding. I'm slipping. I'm stuck in a bank.
But shouldn't you have like a driver that does that?
I have a driver in Thunderbolt 12.
But I thought I saw you one morning. You were actually driving the car. You were not. You've never driven the car. Maybe it was somebody else that was driving the car. They had a reporter that was driving the car one morning.
I think as it shifts maybe now to one-man banding, I'm not sure. But with me, you don't want me driving Thunderbolt 12. So I mean, maybe it's just me. They don't trust me.
I just don't understand. Like, they're telling you to stay off the roads, and there are people driving around. But the other thing too is, and I know you did this, you're standing on the corner reporting, and the cars are going back and forth.
Oh yeah.
And like that is that scary at all?
That scares me because either you'll see something slide or they don't see you. And sometimes you have these trucks that have those big, the rear view whatever mirror things, and I'm like, oh gosh, don't hit me as you come by. But yeah, no, it does. It is silly at times. When one time I sat there with the photographer, I said, oh my gosh, like I just blocked it out, like thinking, oh, it's not going to happen to me. But then we started to slide, and I thought, this is stupid.
That's dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
I always think about that every time we're in a snowstorm. I know you, like me, like to mentor young people getting into the business, right? So you'll like this. Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. A group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. And it's a group of business people, and they get together and they mentor students. And it gives them some connections to get jobs before they go away to school. And they have meetings once a month where you get a bunch of like high school kids and middle school kids, and they meet, and you have different companies of different vocations, and they get into these small groups, and they meet with them, and they talk about what they'd like to do for a living. And I just thought I would mention that because their next meeting is January 8th at 7 o'clock at the Piermont in Babylon. For more information, www.lookWhoMadeIt.org. I have always been open to helping kids out and answering questions, and we're going to be at that next meeting. Sports Bash is going to be there because we would love to have kids, I say kids, but like middle school and high school kids get in. If they want to get into broadcasting, get indoctrinated with us, maybe be a sales intern with us, maybe be a social media intern with us. And I know that's something that you like to do because I know you are always open to talking to people about it.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. That's awesome. Definitely.
I'm being told that the delivery man is outside the door and knocking. No one is answering, but we didn't hear it.
Around back?
Around back, I guess.
I guarantee he's not there.
Well,
I hear the doorbell now.
I hear a doorbell ring.
Does that mean we get French fries and gravy? Do you ever do
What's
that from the diner?
well, listen. Last time the guy was here, we had like 2 giant bags of food. Tony took one of them.
Wow.
I took the other one. I don't know what he's bringing this time, but we are certainly going to divvy it up when the show is over.
All right, because
So-
I'm a friend of Peter's.
Because you're an FOP. Maybe he's in the front.
I don't
know.
I don't know if I can get there.
All right.
But I'll try.
All right. Well, we'll go a little overtime. We'll go a little
We'll keep
overtime
talking
here.
until Tony gets the cheeseburger deluxe.
I'm
with
going.
The fries.
I'm going to text Gus back and say, "There's nobody at the back door, and we
Somebody's
did not
ringing
hear
and
anybody
running."
knocking. Anybody knocking? This is live TV.
So you get a free dessert if you mention
If
the
you
show
mention, if you go
at
to,
Embassy
this is
Diner?
all you have to do. You go to the Embassy Diner. You mention Sports Bash. No questions asked. With your meal, a free dessert,
Really?
and they're right down Hempstead Turnpike there in Bethpage.
Did you ever used to do? Oh, speaking of food, do you remember covering Yankees press conferences?
Oh, we talked about this before.
Yummy.
So when it was the bigger the press conference, the bigger spread the Yankees had.
I mean, it was like being at a wedding. It was like, oh.
When Alex
gosh.
Rodriguez got traded to the Yankees, they brought out the carving board. They brought out the shrimp, and we talked about the Hideki Matsui press conference.
I
too.
mean, they had sushi. That's when I was like, wow, I like the Yankees.
Yeah, it's just
It was
unbelievable.
based on their food at their press conferences.
Yeah, so I don't cover too many things anymore, but when I try to get to something, like, the Yankees and Mets have the food preview before the season starts. I've been to those.
Oh, I never got to do that.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Those are pretty
man.
good. They bring out the samples of everything that they
That's
would
going to be
serve.
sold.
Sold. They do it in March or April, depending on if the Mets open up on the road. They'll do it the first week, and they show off the food. They show off the promo items. The Yankees only show off the food. But it's unbelievable. Oh, the Islanders do that now too with UBS Arena. They do that.
I hate to say it, I have yet to get to UBS.
You have not
Islander
been
game.
to UBS Arena?
No, I've been covering like health and news.
I think the food is coming.
Oh my gosh!
Here it is. You can just bring it right in. We're just on live TV. It's
Awesome.
okay. Thank you very
Look
much.
at this from Embassy Diner.
A delivery from the Embassy Diner.
Hey.
Thank you. Don't forget to mention Sports Bash at the Embassy Diner and get a free dessert with your meal.
What's your favorite dessert? Oh,
What's
Cheesecake.
the cheesecake.
the cheesecake?
That's
The
the
cheesecake is
That's the
unbelievable.
That's the best cheesecake of town.
The
Embassy
best
Diner.
cheesecake in town is
Oh, yeah.
at Embassy Diner. They're
And-
saying.
You got the
he-
gift cards.
Thank you very much. So here's
$50 each.
$50 each.
Okay.
So one of them is for you, Amy, for coming in and doing the show
you don't have
today.
to pay me to be your friend.
Well, no, I'm not paying you to
be.
be my friend. I'm paying you for your time
Wow.
and coming here and schlepping here. And one is for you, Tony.
Nice.
Right over
Thanks.
here. So we're going to leave that for
get
you.
one too?
What's that?
Tony's getting one too.
Tony's getting one too.
Right.
So that leaves.
These are good
Two.
stocking stuffer gifts too.
They are very good stocking
You
stuffer
know?
gifts. But I don't want you re-gifting that. Don't do a Seinfeld on me and re-gift that to anybody.
I may wrap it up and give it to Cheryl. Just act surprised.
Okay. It's not like she's not watching the show right now or anything like that. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very
Happy
much.
and a healthy holiday season
Happy
to you.
holiday.
You know what?
Thank
do you guys do fries with brown gravy? That's my.
Always.
Isn't that the
And you have
best?
the mozzarella on top.
You put the mozzarella. Yes.
And a gravy, yeah.
That's
He'll
my
do-
favorite.
Gus and
diet.
everybody will
I'm
do-
gonna use
Calm
my
down.
$50
There you
gift.
go.
I can get $50 of fries and
They'll
gravy.
do anything you want.
All right, you guys
Thank
take care,
you.
right?
Thank you.
very
We'll
much.
see you soon. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you for
Embassy
being
Diner in Bethpage.
Wow.
Outstanding.
Ooh, yummy.
I am running out of time because I actually have to get somewhere afterwards. So I got to get to the
At your
sports
other
bash.
job?
What's that? No, it's not
Job
another job.
number
Well, the
73?
job of being a dad and a parent, but it's kind of that. It is time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. It's presented by Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles in Rockville Center, Long Island's go-to store for sports, entertainment, and political memorabilia since 1996. They're also available for charity auctions. Give Warren a call at 516-826-4000. Mention Sports Bash, get a free autograph photo before the question of the day. The item of the week is this Mets 16 by 20 1986 autographed photo that we are showing on the screen over there. Well, that is a beauty. That is
wow.
Ray Knight scoring the game-winning run in Game 6 of the 1986 World Series, as Gary Carter is in that picture. Who else is in it? Who's that? 23. That's Bud Harrelson. Isn't that Bud Harrelson?
Wow.
Bud
Harrelson, Kevin Elster, I see.
Kevin Elster's in that.
A couple of Bat Boys.
Is that Howard Johnson right there? We just had Howard Johnson on the show right in front. Is that Howard Johnson? No?
No.
Howard Johnson was on deck.
Oh, my gosh.
That's so that's a Bat Boy. That's a Bat Boy.
That's a Bat Boy.
Carter, Elster, Knight,
Harrelson.
Harrelson. And that might be, that might be Davey.
You pulled the plug out.
Yeah,
no signal now.
Wow.
Good job. Here is the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. You ready?
Okay.
Do you support the proposal for the Sands Casino on the Nassau Coliseum site? And there's 3 answers. Yes, no, or only if the Nassau Coliseum remains in some way. What's your vote?
I know I hate this. I'm going to have people hate me, but I honestly, I don't think it should be a casino. I think it should be some type of community center, have like ice skating, have like fun, bring Long Island together, bring Nassau and Suffolk, give us a place close by that we can hang out and all have fun together.
Yeah. Like the Lighthouse would have been a great thing.
Oh,
had Charles Wong's vision ever happened, that would have been a
Yes.
great thing to do, right?
When I was down in D.C. and Virginia, they would have these little community centers where you would have just a place to gather, and
Right.
if you had nothing to do, it's so central. Like everybody could come together.
Right.
I just think they should.
Yeah,
do that.
listen. I'm not opposed to a casino in theory, but I mean, to me, it's just strange that you would plop a casino resort on Hempstead Turnpike. And like, if you're somebody living somewhere else in the country and you're thinking about going on vacation somewhere, are you thinking, let's go to? Not that you don't want to go to Long Island, because you would, because there would be other places to build it, but it seems like a strange place to put a casino resort.
I just don't like.
And I don't want the Coliseum to go out of business.
Yeah, I just don't like it near universities and colleges too.
Yeah,
That's my main thing.
yeah,
Give them something to hang out. Give them a place to hang out, not at a casino.
It's a tough call. I want to tell everybody about Thursday's show. I will be schmoozing with legendary WFAN host Steve Summers on the show on Thursday. Yes, that'll be fun. I'll also be joined by Notre Dame long snapper and former Kellenberg High School star here on Long Island, Reno Monteforte, the Fighting Irish, getting set to host Indiana Friday night in the college football playoff. We're going to play Stump the Wiz on Thursday. Wiz will be here, so get your questions to the Sports Bash Media socials, your best sports trivia question. If we pick your question, we use it on the show, and you stump the Wiz, you get 2 tickets to see the Islanders play the Ottawa Senators on January 14th at UBS Arena. So since you've never been to UBS Arena, maybe you want to try and stump the Wiz.
I'm going to have to stump the Wiz.
Stump the Wiz on Thursday. Saturday, January 18th. We will not be doing a show on Saturday, January 18th, but the Islanders will be inducting Brent Sutter into their Hall of Fame. Brent is tentatively scheduled to join me here on the show on Tuesday, January 7th. Cool. Next week, we're going to have new shows Monday, December 23rd at 3 o'clock and Friday, December 27th at 1. That's because of the holiday season. We'll be back on a regular schedule on Thursday, January 5th. Now, I can't get into details on this just yet, but Monday at 3 o'clock, it is very possible we will be joined by a former NFL MVP.
No.
Yeah. I can't reveal the name.
Can you rhyme the name? Like, is it rhyme with?
Jeez.
Bill Jims?
You might be onto something there. Might be onto something there. I can say that he kind of has the same color hair as another former quarterback in town. Like there were 2 quarterbacks in town that had the same color hair.
I got it.
We could have one of them on the show on Monday. It's possible. We'll know for sure on Friday.
You're going to have to tune in.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. Keep you in suspenders. I can't thank you enough. This was unbelievable.
So
I know
fun.
we went
You
overtime.
made my day.
Yes, this was fantastic. She was nervous, and she was nervous all week about this.
I don't really understand that.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible.
You never would have known.
Never.
It's a lot of pressure to be a friend of Peter.
That'll do it for this edition.
The standards.
That'll do it for this edition of Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service. Thanks to my co-host Amy Mcgorry. Also thanks to Tony Walker, everyone here at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. For our entire crew, this is Peter Schwartz saying thank you for watching. Sports Bash returns on Thursday at 1 o'clock. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.